I just came in from Aleppo a few weeks ago, right before the siege became a reality. And at that time, Aleppo was semi-sieged, and I worked in a hospital that is underground for protection. It's the same hospital that treated Omran, and I work with the same physicians who took care of him and the nurses who took care of him. This is called M10 hospital. It was bombed 17 times in the past 4 years by the Syrian regime with barrel bombing, and that's why it's underground. I visited 7 hospitals in my last mission, and all of them have been bombed several times. I took care of several children in this last mission. One of them is Ahmad, who was also 5 years old, similar to the age of Amran. And he had a barrel bomb, and he had a shrapnel in his chest, and also part of the shrapnel cut into his spinal cord. And when I saw him in the intensive care unit, he was breathing really hard. So we had to put him on life support. We put the breathing tube into his mouth, and he was between life and death when I saw him. Normally, these type of situations are evacuated to more developed hospitals or to Turkey, but because the road was very dangerous and it was bombed every day by the Syrian regime, we were not able to transport him to Turkey. And unfortunately, one day after I left, he died. He had cardiac arrest. He was not that lucky as Amran. I took care of Fatima, who was 12 years old. She had this ability to start with. She was mute and deaf, and she had a barrel bomb. She had bleeding into her brain, and the only neurosurgeon in the city of Aleppo was able to put a draining tube into her head to drain the blood. And she made it. She survived it, but I'm sure that she's traumatized forever because of the situation. I mean, there are too many children that I took care of. There was this child, which I still remember. I took his picture in the emergency room. He was with his brother and sister. His brother Abdu is 9, and his sister Ilaf were 3, and their mom were at home. And then 2 barrel bombs fell on their home. And his mom had internal bleeding. She ended up on life support. She was pregnant in her 3rd month. Her fetus was dead. His older brother Abdu was killed, and his younger sister Ilaf, 3 years old, were killed, and he survived. I tried to talk with him and joke with him. He was not able to smile, and he was completely traumatized because of the situation.
Dr. Sahloul,
so, I mean, that's happening.
I'm terribly sorry to cut you off. I mean, these sound like horrific conditions and certainly very traumatizing experiences that are quite commonplace. I mean, are you surprised that these images of Omran had such an impact worldwide when you're seeing this on such a regular occasion?
Definitely, I'm shocked that this picture and this video, although it's very effective, of course. I mean, this is a child that was not able to cry. I guess he represents the Syrian children that their tears, have dried in the past 5 years. They've cried enough, and right now there's no more tears. But I was shocked by the reaction. This is something that we see every day, and every day I receive from my colleagues pictures of children who are mutilated or killed or made it, like Omran. But I think anything that can put a human face on the crisis in Syria, anything that can move people from just looking at these pictures to action, which is what is needed. Action meaning protecting these civilians, protecting these children, protecting these hospitals. There's 85,000 children in the besieged city of Aleppo that needed to be protected from barrel bombing, from missiles attack. And we need to know that who is the culprit. And the culprit is the Assad regime and the Russians who are bombing these hospitals and children. And I think anything that can move people to action is good.